Hi, I'm Sherrie Grabot, the Chief Executive Officer of GuidedChoice, and this is The Financial Wanderer. Well, cryptocurrency is such a hot topic these days. In fact, I think it's also probably one of the most misunderstood topics, and still is, even though it's been around since 2009. It was originally created in 2009 by actually somebody or a group of people who used a pseudonym. So we don't really know who they are. But the gist of it is they created the first cryptocurrency in 2009, and that was Bitcoin. Today, it's still the largest and most well-known of all the cryptocurrencies, albeit there are thousands of different versions today. Now, to understand really what cryptocurrency is, it probably helps to understand what currency is. And there's really three key factors to currency. First is it's a unit value, so it has a measurable value. And typically with currencies, you want them to be stable, or as stable as possible, because not only is it a unit of value today, in other words, I know what a dollar will buy. A dollar will buy me a package of gum, or it might buy me a candy bar. Doesn't buy me all that much these days, but that I can correlate the dollar to something that I can purchase, which leads me to the next point of it can be a medium of exchange. I can give you a dollar, you give me a pack of gum. So that's typically what a currency is used for. It's got a unit of value and a medium of exchange. But a third component of it is it's also a store of value. In other words, maybe I don't want to spend that dollar today. I want to spend it in the future. Well, if I want to spend it in the future, I certainly need it to stay at the value of a dollar, or it's not going to be able to buy me that candy bar when I use it in the future. So back in 2009, when Bitcoin was originated, it came along really as an idea to provide a stable currency for individuals who lived in countries where the currency was very volatile. So typically that would be a developing nation where governments tend to be a little more on the corrupt side and currency tends to be very volatile. The value goes up and down. What Bitcoin did is it wasn't acting as a currency per se, because one of the things it could do is give you stability in the value, and it could give you a store of value, but it still wasn't acting as a medium of exchange. I couldn't take my Bitcoin down to the corner store and buy my groceries. So it wasn't a currency, but it did have a store of value. Now, fast forward from 2009, about a decade later, you had thousands of individuals coming into the market creating cryptocurrencies. Why? Well, because they could. All you needed was a computer, and you could create a cryptocurrency. Now, why would they do that, though? Really, it was because they saw the value that Bitcoin had. It was increasing in demand because people were using it as a store of value. Still, again, it wasn't a currency. Don't be confused. Even though it's named that, that's not what it was, because it still didn't have a medium of exchange. But people did see it as the potential to have a store of value, as well as what was happening is more people were coming into the market buying it. The prices were going up. We would call it almost like a hyperinflated price because there was nothing behind it. There was no product, there were no services, there was no medium of exchange. It was certainly based in hype. It's what we would call speculation. Speculation is not the same as investing. Speculation is when you're taking money, you're putting it into something, assuming it's going to go up in value. But if it doesn't go up in value, you lose it all because there's nothing there to give you value back. So with the cryptocurrencies, as they were growing and everybody was going crazy over them, and the values are all going up, more people are entering in, we would call that a bubble. It was a speculation bubble. The values were going up, but there really wasn't any corresponding reason for the value to be going up. That's really the history of cryptocurrency as it stands today. We had enough failures and enough problems, as we all know, from the whole FTX exchange and the corruption that was built into that that people are now hesitant to really go use this as an investment. Now more people are understanding that this is a speculation. It may go up, you may lose it all. There's nothing behind it to give it any value other than the value that a buyer puts on it once you own it and you want to sell it. So it's all based in what sellers are willing to sell for and buyers are willing to buy. That's speculation. We don't know where it's going to go in the future. I don't think anybody does. There's two aspects of the cryptocurrency that are becoming very interesting, and they're really creating attention. With most monetary systems and most currencies, they're issued by government. Government is centralized. So that means control is centralized within the government. And the government generally has some entity, like in the United States, the Federal Reserve Bank, and they have some control over the valuation of that currency. That's what we would call a centralized position. Now today, most cryptocurrency is decentralized. There's no government or no oversight looking at the value of this and creating the value, deciding how much cryptocurrency to create, because you can continue to create it really out of thin air, so to speak. You just create more and more and more. There's no entities that are managing it other than those who start the cryptocurrency. So because of that, we would call it decentralized. The decentralization has some advantages in that you don't have control. There's no one entity controlling it. Whereas with government, government does have control. But there's also some disadvantages in that there's no one controlling it. So that means anyone in this structure can be doing whatever they're doing, creating more cryptocurrency, creating, selling or buying more back and reducing the amount of cryptocurrency. They're still going to be controlling the actual value of the cryptocurrency by either having more or less through supply and demand. But in the event that you don't want a centralized system, then decentralized cryptocurrency may take off in the future.